Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you can hear me well. I see my video is stuttering a little bit. Is it good? Ruby, is it good?
Yes, morning, good.
Okay, huh?
Okay.
All right, very good. We have to make sure all the visuals are clear and precise. If no, the message will not be sent through correctly. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, today what we are going to do is we are going to discuss on matters pertaining to APEL. Today's session will take, it won't take 4 hours. Don't worry, it's a Friday, definitely not. Basically, the hours there are put to ensure for our record purposes only. I hope to do it in maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. Then I will have sessions for you to ask any questions if you want. And during the whole discussion that we have here, if you have any questions and whatnot, you can put the questions in the chat, or you can just raise your hand. You press raise your hand, and then you can just ask the questions itself. Okay. Okay, very good. So to start it off, let's just start with today's session. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about accreditation of prior experiential learning. That is called APEL. Now, APEL in Malaysia itself. So in today's session, what our goals, our talking points will be on the emergence of APEL. How did APEL actually start? Why did it start? Types and objective of APEL, the general policies of APEL A and C. I'm really going to discuss basically on A and C. Then the basic APEL assessment tools, and finally the implementation of APEL itself. So upon completion of the session today, you will have a clear idea of what APEL is, how does it impact students, and what is most important is how does it impact us as colleagues and staff of UOW Malaysia. Because you will understand that UOW Malaysia is an APEL center. Okay. However, we are only an APEL C center. So I will explain further as we go along. Okay. So when we talk about APEL, I think, okay, before I come to this screen over here, I would just want to go back to the first slide that I have over here. So what does APEL mean? It's an accreditation. Accreditation means recognition. I accredit somebody means I recognize their achievement. That is called to accredit. So what are we accrediting? Prior experiential learning. So prior is learning that has done before. All right. So we recognize the learning that has been done by an individual before they actually come to us. And that is what APEL is. Okay. So when we recognize, means there must be certain level of scrutiny, all right, before we recognize something. We cannot recognize a person on his qualifications just by hearing or just by listening to what that person says. Oh, I have this, I have that. Yes, you can listen, but you want to recognize. How do you do it? You need evidence, all right? You say you have this, you say you have a diploma in this, you say you have a diploma in that, you have a degree. Prove it to me. So when we want to accredit, we want to recognize a person's prior learning, there is a lot of evidence-related action that needs to be done. So when we look at APEL itself, generally, it is to recognize people's prior learning. They didn't say what kind of learning. So that is where the beauty of APEL is. APEL allows for individuals who have learned in many different sectors, ways, and styles to be able to recognize this kind of learning when they continue their formal education. This can be a mouthful for many of you at the initial stage, but worry not. As we go through the slides, I will explain to you in detail. Okay. So how did APEL come into play? So if you look into the Malaysian Education Blueprint 15 to 25, there is an emphasis on lifelong learning. So what actually happened is quite a few years ago, the government did a study, and they have identified that in Malaysia itself, hi Shinjin, there are many individuals who want to study, but because they do not have the qualification or the prior qualification itself, that is a stumbling block for them to continue their studies. All right, it's a stumbling block. Example, let's say myself, I completed my SPM 20 years ago. Okay, upon completion of my SPM, I went to work because maybe I did not have money. I went to work. And as I work, I climbed the corporate ladder. Today, I'm a human resource manager in an international organization. I'm a human resource manager, but I only have SPM. So now I want to do my degree. Can or not? With SPM, can do degree. Not? What do you think, guys? Can I have the answer over here in the chat? With SPM, can I do my degree? Boleh ke tak? Guys, come on. Can? Cannot. Mana boleh? Cannot lah. With experience, no, I'm not saying with SPM only. With SPM, no, I don't think so. Betul, tak boleh. Memang tak boleh. Because in Malaysia, Malaysia is very strict. Malaysia has this thing called Malaysia MQF, Qualifications Framework. In that MQF, it clearly states, for you to achieve a higher level, you need to have a prior level. So in Malaysia, we have 8 levels. 8 levels. Level 1, 2, and 3, or say tahap 1, 2, dan 3 is certificate. Tahap 4 is diploma. Tahap 5, higher diploma. Tahap 6, undergraduate or degree. Tahap 7, masters. Tahap 8, PhD. Simple as that. So for them, senang saja. For you to do a tahap 4, which is a diploma, you need an SPM. For you to do a degree, tahap 6, you need an STPM, you need foundation, or you need a diploma, and so on. Okay, with a SPM, you cannot go. So Malaysia, traditionally, even though you are a human resource manager or whatever, if you are following the academic route, it's called the academic route, you go to a university, you go to a college, you bring them your SPM cert, and you tell them, I have 20 years working experience. The institution will tell you, I'm very sorry, sir, I cannot take you in. I know you are a human resource manager, but because you only have SPM, I cannot take you in. So what happened in the research done by the government was there were a lot of individuals that were in this situation. A lot, banyak in Malaysia. And they reached a glass ceiling in such where they couldn't actually climb the corporate ladder anymore because of their lack of qualification. Now, please take note, guys. Qualification and ability is different. We have a lot of people with high qualification but no ability. We have people with a lot of ability but no qualification because of circumstances. We always hope that people with high qualification will have high ability, of course lah. All right. So these individuals may not have qualification, but they have the ability. They have gone through the challenges working and they are now where they are. So how do they then proceed? Okay, so this is where the government started APEL. All right, they started thinking about APEL, accreditations of prior experiential learning, that allows for these individuals to actually do a qualification that they want to. I will explain further. As I explained earlier, in Malaysia, our system is very simple. We have a very, very good structured system where we have the MQF levels. Remember, I explained to you 1 hingga 8. And this is what it is lah. Diploma 4. I will just explain to you a little bit like, see, diploma, our students come in, they are tahap 4. So you may ask, Gabe, what is this certificate? Certificate are those with 1 SPM credit. So if you don't meet the diploma requirement of 3 or 5 SPM credits, you do certificate. You finish your certificate, you can do diploma. That is what they say. Okay. So Malaysia, everything is following this kind of structure. Very, very, very straightforward one. Okay. But because of the nature of its rigidness, the rigid nature of it, that is why a lot of individuals who want to study at this level, for example, 6 and 7, and they do not have a minimum of a 4, for example, they cannot proceed. They have SPM, they cannot proceed. And why do they not have? Circumstances previously did not allow them to have that. Okay, could be money, could be this and that, and so on. Understand, guys? So it is important for us to understand this MQF, Malaysia Qualifications Framework. Okay, so this is our framework in Malaysia itself. So when we talk about APEL, APEL allows for all levels. See, 1 sampai 8, 1 sampai 8. Okay. So APEL, Accreditation of Prior Experiential Learning, or pengakreditan pengalaman pembelajaran terdahulu. That is what is in VM. Recently, in the past 12 to 18 months, the government has been pushing a lot of this, really, really very aggressive. If you see what has actually transpired in the media and the push that they have, there is a lot that spoke on this matter itself. Especially recently, when I believe many of you have also read on, there are many students after SPM who are not intending to proceed to continue their studies. So a lot of them do not want to study, they want to do their own things and so on. So the government is a little bit worried. So they are also looking, if the young people do not want to study, let's then focus or push and encourage the older generation or those who have been working to continue studying because they want to do. The heart is there. Okay. They really, really want to do. So they're looking at different prongs over there. At the end of the day, what is the government's goal? They want a society that it is in a way well qualified, and not only qualified and have the ability to develop the nation. That is their goal. Okay, that is the key goal itself. So when we talk about prior learning, one key word here is the word prior experiential learning. What does it mean by prior learning? So as I explained earlier on, prior means before, all right? So it's basically you are assessing what this person has learned before, all right? So prior learning can take root or in the form of 3 key elements. Here we have formal, informal, and non-formal, all right? So this is prior learning. So for me itself, I'm only a tahap 7, all right? I have my master's. So my prior learning now is I have my master's, I have my degree, I have my diploma, I have my SPM, I have my SRP. This is prior learning, all right? That is called formal prior learning. So very straightforward. But I also have many different prior learnings before, all right? Because I have interest, example, in photography, all right? So I have learned photography in my own time. So that is also prior learning, even though I do not have a cert for it. It's my own interest, okay? I watch YouTube videos, but that is also prior learning. Yes. So now it gets a little bit more interesting when I said, not only do I have my formal certificates, but I also have my informal or non-formal certificates and experiences. And because all of these are prior learning, APEL allows for recognition of all of this. This is where it becomes fun. All right. Are you guys following so far? Okay. Yes. Good. No. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, so when we talk about prior learning here, what are the sources? Earlier on, I said formal learning. Formal learning is any type of learning that is under the MQF levels. So for many of you, you have your PhD, that is formal learning. Some of you with your PhD, you jump from a degree to PhD. So that degree is formal learning. Some of you got masters, that is formal learning. Your diploma is formal learning. SPM is formal learning. Anything that comes with a formal cert, that it is basically accredited by a respective body. That is called formal learning. Okay? SRP, formal learning. Okay, some of you may not know what SRP is. It is called PMR. PMR is a low level, is still formal learning. Then we have SPM, we have STPM, A levels, O levels, certificate, diploma. All of these are formal learning. In Malaysia's context, if I'm taking a certificate in Malaysia in university, formal learning will meet certain criteria. So if it's diploma, let me ask you a question, friends. Diploma, how many credits is the minimum credit requirement for a diploma? Tak tahu ni kena ketuk kepala. Minimum credit requirements for a diploma. Tuan-tuan, puan-puan, Tan Sri, Datuk. Some of you already Googling now. Minimum entry. Minimum credit requirements for a diploma. Minimum, I know it can go more, but it can be minimum. Berapa tu? Sharina. Come on, guys. Wait, thinking. No, hey, you guys do counseling, 3. No. The minimum credit requirements to get a diploma. So if diploma ada berapa credit? Diploma ada berapa credit? When a student ambil diploma, when they finish, how many credits do they have? Minimum. Set in Malaysia one. This is set. 90. You are correct. Nur Sakira, you are correct. Tepuk tangan. Diploma, minimum requirements 90. Can be more. Can be 91, 92, 93, 94, tak apa. But minimum 90. Degree berapa? Degree berapa? Guys, this one important. Degree. Betul. Degree 120. Betul. Okay, so this is called minimum and minimum credit requirements. Friends, this one you have to know lah. This one when you do counseling, parents always ask one. So sources of learning, formal learning are those. The diploma 90 credits you get, that is called formal learning. Non-formal learning, non-formal, second one here, non-formal learning is when we go and join a course. Let's say you take a course in Coursera. You go to Coursera, you take a course. The course is 42 hours. After you finish the course already, you get a cert. Right now, Coursera will give you cert if you pay money. Is that cert a recognized? Is that cert a cert that is accredited by MQA or not? Yes or no? Itu Coursera punya cert, accredited by MQA or not? Ada? Itu Coursera punya. So, does Coursera need to go to accreditation with MQA? No, memang no. No, Coursera is in America. MQA is Malaysia. No, memang no. But you do. When you do that course, even though it is not accredited by MQA, do you gain knowledge? Do you gain do you learn new things? Yes, correct or not? Yes, you learn new things. You can learn a lot. Many of you actually learn more on your own, taking short courses than you do in your master's or in your degree program. Many of you do that. Okay, that's life. Because when you do your master's, some of us, when we did our degree or master's was already 20 or 25 years ago. In the past 20 years, I've learned so many more things that exceeds what I did in my master's level. Definitely. We are old already, so we learn more after that. Okay, so that is called non-formal learning. You get it, non-formal learning. So the cert ada, tapi bukan like a diploma, bukan a degree. No, it is like Gabriel has completed the course in programming, in basic programming. And then Coursera, 42 hours. That is non-formal. Then also we have informal learning. Informal learning is learning that takes place on your own accord. Let's say I like to do photography. I like to do photography. I learn on my own. How do I learn? I buy books. I go to YouTube pages. I watch YouTube video. I watch TikTok video. I watch, I learn, I do all these things, then I take photograph. Okay, I do photography lah. I go around, I take. I learn through on my own, buy books and so on. Okay, that is informal learning. That is also recognized, guys. It's also recognized. You may ask, how do we verify? Verify need evidence. Mesti ada bukti. Bukti itu penting. So, informal learning must have evidence. All of this must have evidence. But formal learning and non-formal learning evidence senang mah. Got certificate mah, right now. I can prove to you, I can show you my degree, even though it was done nearly 30 years ago. I can show you my degree. That is official. But what about informal? I can tell you, I learned how to do photography on my own. You may ask the very good question, yes, but do you learn the right thing? Are you sure you know how to use or not? You say you know how to use a camera. Are you sure you're holding the camera in the right way? So now how? So there must be evidence to prove. Okay. When we do exam with student, why are we doing an exam? Why are we doing an assessment with student? We do assessment to our student currently because we want to get evidence that student has achieved that goal. What is that goal? CLO, course learning outcome. That's why we do exam. That is why we do presentation. We don't do presentation. We don't do report writing. We don't do exam for fun, We do because we want to collect evidence that student understand the subject that you have taught. Same thing. You get it now, guys? So if it's informal learning, how do we recognize? Later, I will explain, but it is accepted. Okay? So, here is an explanation. Formal learning, as I explained earlier on, organization refers to learning that occurs in an organized and structured environment. You go to university, organized and structured. It is usually intentional, and the assessment of learning leads to an award of a formal qualification or certification. Formal qualification or certification. SPM, STPM, diploma, A-levels, ini semua lah. I'm going to jump to non-formal first before I explain informal. Non-formal refers to learning that is intentional, which may be conducted in a structured and organized environment. This form of learning may not necessarily lead to a formal qualification. Coursera, you get a cert. Formal qualification means, a formal certification means, like in Malaysia, diploma 90 credits, degree 120. Examples of non-formal learning include training, short courses, seminars, events, and so on. And we have informal learning, refers to the knowledge and skills acquired by the applicant based on his or her self-effort. When I enjoy photography, I take my camera, I go out on weekend and I take photo. It is my self-effort because I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. It is usually incidental or unintentional. Because I enjoy it as a hobby, but unintentionally, I am learning photography. Now, can any of you give me another example of something that is very informal in your life that you actually learn, but you don't have a qualification? You don't have a formal qualification or a non-formal qualification, but you are actually quite good at it, or actually you are learning in a way. Any example? Think, guys. It can be so simple that you just, oh, itu kah? Okay, somebody is replying. Very good. Just put, there's no right or wrong answer. All right. We are all learning here. What do you think? Informal learning, unintentional. You do it, you enjoy it, okay, on your own accord. Come on, guys. Watching YouTube, okay. Watching YouTube is the process, but what is the outcome? All right. Learning a sport, yes. Baking, very good. Aswarya, very good baking. I enjoy baking on my hobby. I do it on my own. That's why I want to say cooking, baking, painting. All right. These are all informal learning. All right. So watching YouTube is not the is the tool that you use for your learning. But what are you learning? You may want to learn something else. Like some of us learn sewing and crocheting. YouTube. You watch YouTube, oh, itu macam. So I learn how to do. Okay, I learn how to do. I make up tutorials. Very good. Makeup tutorials. Yes, this is learning. Okay. So now we understand already, informal learning. Okay. So now, so I'm going to go on. So now we understand this already. So all of these are recognized under APEL. Recognized. Okay. Now, even in your work, most of you are educators over here. You are educators, you are teachers. all right? But in your daily work and daily life, you also handle different things. Some of you may do role of marketing, administration, and so on. So that is also another form of learning. You may be a engineer by qualification. Engineer by qualification. But once you join KDU, for example, UOW Malaysia, you are teaching in an engineering school, but during the process, you are also a program leader. So you handle staff issues, staff problems, and so on. You handle all of those. And you have been a program leader or ADH for the past 10 years. Okay? 10 years. All right. So even though you are an engineer by qualification, but your experience have widened your horizon on knowledge. You're not only an engineer now, you also know management, you also know human resources and so on. That also can be recognized. That also can be recognized. Okay, so that is the scope of APEL, no guys. So now the foundation is already clear. You already understand what APEL is, all right? The recognition of prior experiential learning. Okay, we recognize all of this. So now the question is, how does it work? How does it work? Okay, so we will go on to the next slide. Okay. Another thing I want to put, which we also sometimes neglect. Some of you may be mothers. You take care of kids. You may see, and if your experience of taking care of kids itself and what you have gone through, or maybe your experience can be also prior experiential learning, depending on what you are applying for. All right. Okay. You just think about that. Okay. Now, so next thing we're going to look at is, we already understand what prior experiential learning is types of APEL. What are the types of APEL are there available? So we have APEL A, C, and Q. Now, I will put in a little bit of caveat over here. In the recent months, there's been a lot of change in APEL itself. Whatever I tell you is valid for this year. All right. Okay. But I'm not saying it's fixed. Tomorrow they may update certain things and whatnot. Okay. I can safely tell you, under APEL A, under there, there's an APEL M. AM, they just introduced recently. I will not touch on that so much first, all right? M stands for micro credentials, all right? So we have A, C, and Q. Okay. APEL A stands for access, ACCE access. So APEL A is a process that allows individuals to enter a program that they are not qualified for. My initial example I gave you was me, I have a SPM with many years experience and I want to do my degree. Cannot, ma? You already said, Gabe, cannot. So what can I do? I apply APEL A. I apply APEL A, access to academic program. Understand, huh? Now, we also have APEL C, cacing, credit transfer. APEL C stands for credit transfer, CT. It is once I am in the program, I'm already in the program, then I find that a particular subject or course, I got experience before already. I can apply for APEL C. And if I pass, I can get credit transfer for that subject. Example, I love photography. My whole qualification, all my qualification is on management. All right, hospitality management. I'm a hospitality person, hospitality tourism management. Okay, now picture this. I joined SCCA, Creative Arts. I want to do a diploma based on my interest. Let's say I want to do a degree, even though I have my qualifications. I want to do a degree, and in that degree, in let's say journalism, I want to do a degree in journalism. I may be old, but I just have interest. First semester, first subject, there's this subject called basic photography. Basic photography, all right? It's a basic subject, introduction to photography itself. I have been doing photography for 20 years, even though I got no qualification, but I know everything. I know how to hold, I know the difference, lighting, aperture, this and that, the whole shebang. So I can apply for APEL C for that subject called basic photography. Let's say Shinjin is the teacher of basic photography. Okay, I want to apply for that. She wants evidence. She wants evidence that I can meet the requirements of the subject. Okay, what do you think she will do? What do you think she will do? All right. Open to all. I'm just using Shinjin as an example only. Open to all. Okay. What do you think is needed? For you to think a little bit. What do you think is needed? Come on, guys, let's try. What do you think? Come on, guys. Let's try. A lot of this thing in our discussion is not only about APEL, but it's also about general thought. All right, guys. Okay. I have experience photography. The course requires semester 1, introduction to photography. I tell the teacher, Miss, I have been doing photography for 20 years. You as a teacher, do you take my word for it to say that I am good in photography? Will you just take my word for it? Yes or no? No. Evidence. Very good. Evidence. I see people writing evidence. No. Good. You won't take my word. Now, what kind of evidence will you need and based on what? What kind of evidence and based on what? What kind of photography? What kind of evidence? So what do you need to see for you to know what evidence you need? What do you need to see? You need to see portfolio. Very good. You are giving me the answer. You see portfolio. Very good. But before you see portfolio, you need to see something that you have already. You are the teacher of introduction to photography. You have this thing with you and this document. This document that tells you what is this document? How many you can try? Come on, try. You're giving me very good answers already. Very, very good. What is this document? Come on, guys. So you are the teacher. You are the lecturer of introduction to photography. The students say that they have experience, they know what to do. So before you take, you want evidence, yes. But what evidence do you take? What do you want? Is portfolio, but you don't just take portfolio. You need to compare with something. You need to make sure that they meet something. What do you see? What do you see? There is a document that all of you teachers got one. You give to student also. Now, apa tu? Apa tu? Some of you will call it what? Come on. Come on, try. Course outline with course learning outcome, CLO. So if the student tells me I know photography, I say, okay, very good. I want evidence. Before I take evidence, I see the CLO. What is required for the students to achieve? Course learning outcome, so to achieve. So I got to make sure that the students prove to me that they have achieved that. Itu yang penting. Itu yang penting. So because it is photography, what tool do I use? I use portfolio lah. Sharina is correct. I use portfolio. Okay. If the course learning outcome says that students must demonstrate ability to do everything to do with photography, then the best is portfolio. I ask the student, give me your portfolio of work. Then I do interview with the student to make sure the students achieve the CLO. That is called APEL C. Understand? Understand, huh? Now, if this is on photography portfolio, what if it is basic accounting? Basic accounting, how? Basic accounting portfolio boleh tak? Let's say it's basic accounting. Students say, I work in the company doing accounting. I'm a senior accounts clerk for the past 20 years already. Now I join diploma in accountancy or degree in accountancy, and the first subject, the first semester is called Introduction to Accounting, debit, credit, all the Frank Wood kind of requirements one. So I say I know already. So what kind of test will you do to him? Do you think portfolio is good for accounting? No, very good. So what do you do? If portfolio is not the method to use, what method do you use? Yeah, you are correct. Portfolio cannot, accounting cannot, right or not? So what do you do? What do you do? Alexia, try. Somebody, come. What do you do? For accounting, correct. The answer, portfolio is no good. So for accounting or mathematics, what kind of method of assessment do you need to do? Mathematics kind, accounting. You cannot just take from students hearing, right? You cannot just hear what's the, oh, you know, oh, very good, accounting can. You need evidence. Yes, you need to do an exam. You need to do a test. So for credit transfer, you may tell the student, oh, you say you know, you say you have done accounting, good. Next week, come in. We are going to sit down. I'm going to give you a 3-hour accounting exam on all the CLOs. You say you know, so you prove to me lah. You see, this is called evidence. Certain evidence is portfolio and interview. Certain evidence is going to be test and exam or presentation. You get it, guys? So this is called APEL C. Okay, we, UOW Malaysia, is an APEL C center. We are not an APEL A center. We are an APEL C center. All right, we are an APEL C center. Understand? I will explain further. Then we have APEL Q. APEL Q is a higher one, just recently introduced, only roughly 18 months ago. We are not. So normally students won't ask so much about this. We are not a center over here. Here is basically Q stands for qualification. It means a person will apply for APEL Q to attain the full qualification. Example, if Tony Fernandez, all right, he wants to do his master's. Let's say he doesn't have lah. Let's say he give me a second. Give me a second. Hello. Okay, let's say Tony Fernandez, we know him, right? He is the big boss of AirAsia. Let's say he only has a diploma, okay, and now he wants to do his master's. All right, he runs the company, he does everything, this, that, blah, 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 and so on. All right, he can apply for APEL-Q based on his experience. So he will go through a very stringent process to evaluate whether he met the program learning outcomes. APEL-C, we only look at the course learning outcomes because it is course level, subject level. APEL-Q, you look at the program level. So if you look at the program level for an MBA or a master's program, there are so many inside there. All right. There are so many program learning outcomes, and it is wider and requires more depth. That is why Q is actually not simple. Q is a longer process. It's actually a much longer process over there. But at the end of the day, if the student passes, they will attain the master's. Okay? Yeah, but it is not easy. It is not just one interview. They need to visit the company. They need to do a lot of tests, this, that, and so on. So that's APEL Q. I will not touch on it so much over there. All right, following guys. So A is for SS, C is for credit transfer, and Q is for qualification. So here at UOW Malaysia KDU, we are an APEL C center only. We are not an APEL A center. Not APEL A, only C. Certain institutions are A. When we apply for C during that time, we were not allowed to apply for A. Recently, only they allowed more institutions to apply for A. So how does A work is A normally students will go to the MQA website and they apply there. I will explain later. So under the centers, the center coordinators for Penang will be Melissa, and for Selangor will be me lah. All right. Okay. So here in Selangor, it is myself and Hazim. All right. So Hazim is also part of the APEL C Center. All right. So as what we say, APEL A and C. So a bit of background. I'm going to touch a little bit on history on APEL A. Yeah? We are going to touch A. Now, why do I need to touch on APEL A even though we are not an APEL A center? We found out based on the many years we are running this, 90% of the students that inquire for APEL is APEL A. 90%. Most of the people that come to see us is will ask pertaining to APEL A, where they don't have the minimum entry requirements. So we tell them we are not an APEL A center, but we tell them a little bit to explain to them. Most of our inquiries of students, outsiders, and the public, they are not well versed about what APEL is. They say so. Many of them think it's a shortcut to success. It is not. It doesn't mean you get APEL A to enter degree, you show pass degree, nothing. It is just to enter only. Okay. So basically, APEL A started quite a few years ago. So what it happens, as what we said, it was driven by the government to encourage working people to go back to work. All right, to go back to study. Sorry, to go back to study and to develop the knowledge workforce that was required to develop our country. Okay, so what are the general policies? APEL A policies, we'll just touch a little bit here. Now, APEL A is applicable to local and international applicants who do not meet the regular entry. Now, please take note, this is not what I wrote. I took from APEL documents. Why? Because it's very important to make sure the wording is correct. All right, I took from APEL documents itself. All right, so for APEL A, for local and international applicants who do not meet the regular entry requirements imposed by academic programs at any MQF level. So the key word here is local and international. So everybody lah, all right, who do not meet the regular entry requirements. Regular entry requirements are what is stipulated in the MQF. Diploma entry requirements is SPM 3 credits. Degree entry requirements is blah, 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 and so on. Okay, now, applicants applying for entry via the APEL A must meet the minimum age requirements stipulated for various levels of qualification. I will show you. So if you want to apply for APEL A for tahap 7, masters, you need to be of a certain age. You cannot be 15 years old, cannot. Okay, must fulfill the minimum formal qualifications stipulated for master's and doctorate level. So you want master's and doctorate, there may be certain requirements also. And applicants applying for entry via the APEL A must have prior experiential learning. You must have experience. You cannot be a freshie after SPM. After SPM, 17 years old, 18 years old, you want to apply to do masters. Cannot, no way. Okay, now. So we are going to start off with the simplest one over here. So if it is a tahap 8 is doctorate, all right? So individuals can apply for APEL A for level 8, all right? That is doctorate. Okay, so doctorate by coursework, mixed mode, and full research base, all right? Full research base. At least 35 years old of age in the year of application, possess at least a bachelor's degree or equivalent qualification. Now, normally in Malaysia, for you to do a PhD or doctorate, you need masters. You need masters. All right, that is how it is. But you can apply APEL if you only have a bachelor. If you only have a bachelor, you apply APEL A, you can do your doctorate. Okay. Now, some of you may say, okay, but I know last time when I did my PhD, I do my degree, after that they convert. Yeah, that one is different. When you do your degree after certain years, they actually do a conversion in certain institutions. But over in Malaysia, we follow the MQF, and this is what is required. Okay, so not only do you need to be 35 years old and have a degree, possess at least 5 years of relevant work experience after completion of the bachelor's degree, and pass an APEL A assessment for doctorate level. So you need to meet this. So if a student is met 35 years old, got degree, but after degree, never work. Duduk rumah main game. All right? No proof of working. Cannot also. Okay? Cannot also. If a student got this, but failed the APEL-A assessment, also cannot. So it's no guarantee. APEL-A is no guarantee. They have to meet all the requirements over here. So number 2, master's level. Master's level is tahap 7. So 30 years old. Possess at least the STPM diploma, relevant experience. Then they have to do the assessment for masters. See? So many of the people, our most popular inquiry for APEL-A is masters, because a lot of these people that come and see me and we talk to them 40 years old and above one, all more senior lah. I won't call them old lah, okay? I'm also that age. So they will come, they say, I've been working many years already, 20 years, 22 years, this and that, blah, 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 and so on. I want to do my masters. So we recommend them this lah. But the most sakit one is a lot of them after SPM. See, they after SPM, they go and work. They work in corporate and they are doing very well, very well. Now they want to do masters. Can or not? Based on this criteria, can or not? With SPM only, even though working for 20 years. Boleh ke tak? You see? Tak boleh At least STPM, or A levels lah. So we have to tell the person, I'm very sorry, I know you've been working for 20 years, but you only got SPM. Cannot. All right. So you apply for APEL-A, you only can do what? This lah. Degree level. Which normally you are not allowed to. SPM cannot do degree, but you apply for APEL, through APEL, you can. But you cannot do masters because the conditions are here. Even though you have 20 years of working experience, you are a senior finance manager. Also cannot. Okay. Now, and then for bachelor, this is it. Bachelor over here. 20 years of experience. Okay. Now, for diploma requirement, and then for certificate also. Okay. Not too many of these pop-ups. Okay. So this is certificate. So this is APEL-A requirements. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing, APEL-A, are we a center? Is UOW Malaysia a center? No, we are not. Where do students apply? Later, I show you the link. Some other institution, they are given license to do. Like who? Wawasan Open University is an APEL-A center. University Pertahanan Malaysia is an APEL-A center. Open University, AEU, a lot of these e-universities are APEL-A centers. And a few more. SAGI is also an APEL-A center, but they can do certain ones. MQA is also an APEL-A center. All right. See, Hazim put a little link in there. MQA is also an APEL-A center. So a lot of students initially they can apply. They go to MQA office and they do the assessment there. Okay. Now, so basically, what happens is when you do APEL-A, they want to make sure that the students achieve or to see that the students meet the minimum entry requirements to attain the course. All right. So if you look at this, it is the 5 clusters. For those of you lecturers, academicians, you will know these are the 5 clusters. All right. Basically lah. All right. And that is what APEL-A want to make sure. So before they say you pass APEL-A for masters, they want to make sure you are matang or matured enough and you have the basic ability to do a master's program. That is why there is assessment. Okay, and the assessment, everything will be based on the 5 clusters. Okay, so what are the assessment instruments? Okay, so basically, APEL-A, the assessment will be like this. All right, aptitude test, portfolio, and interview. I'm going to show you. So if a student wants to go into a diploma, all right, so a student, no SPM, want to do diploma. They do APEL-A, And then the assessment is only an aptitude test, 100%. They must submit a portfolio, but there is no assessment to it. If they want to do a degree, then it is going to be aptitude test, which will give 30%, and then portfolio is 70%. You see this, guys? If they want to do a master's, mixed mode or coursework, then it is aptitude test 40, portfolio 40, and interview 20. There's an interview. All right, master's level, tahap 7 and above, sure got interview one. They want to talk to you. If it is a research-based masters, then it is portfolio 50%, tak ada aptitude test. Research-based tak ada aptitude test, but they got research intent and presentation. Macam proposal. Proposal. For those of you who have done your masters and your PhD, you know what it is. Macam chapter 1, 2, 3 lah. Tapi much more compressed. Much less. Proposal on the research you want to do. 30% and interview. Doctorate, macam itu jugalah. Okay, understand? Understand, guys? Okay, so student need to go through this. They go through this, they pass, they can go in. Right? Simple, right? Not? Okay, now, how to apply? Basically, everything MQA. Senang cakap, go to MQA website because MQA website is where they will apply. They can go to Open University to apply also. They can also go to Wawasan Open University to apply. Can. But I always tell the student, in case many of you people ask, just go to the MQA website because that is from the horse's mouth. Okay, MQA website. You click inside, everything is there about APEL. MQA govern it. We don't touch. Okay? Satu. So, berapa sen? How much? This is accurate only from this year. It will change periodically. So, master's level is 370, degree 250 must pay. So you pay, you go through assessment. Once you finish, they will give you a cert. Simple as that. All right? Subject to change, blah, 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 and so on. All right? Okay, so any questions on APEL A? I believe there are some marketing colleagues over here. A lot of questions that you will get on APEL is APEL A. So you want to ask, you can ask me now. I'll be happy to answer you anything about APEL A. Mari, tanya. Ada soalan? Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan? Questions? APEL A? Clear? If it's okay, thumbs up, good, can? Can, okay. Good. Okay, so that is APEL A. Okay, now. So, next, we are going to talk about APEL C. We are an APEL C center. We APEL C. So this is us. Okay. Now, being an APEL C center allows us to do a few things. So APEL C is for who? APEL C is for who? Student who enter through APEL A or conventional route. Any student, any of our student here that is already on campus or will join us regardless of which route they take, they can apply for APEL C. All right. Who implement APEL C? HEP, Higher Education Providers, approved by MQA. That's us lah. We have been approved by MQA. Now, what is the assessment principle of APEL C? Student competency versus CLO. Remember, I told you about my photography one? So you need to base it on course learning outcome. So this is how it is. Course learning outcome. Course learning outcome, and how do I show evidence that I achieved the course learning outcome? So maximum credit that can apply, 30%, guys. 30%. So you look at how attractive this is. Now, let me ask you a question for you academicians over here. For student with a diploma, when they go to degree, how much credit transfer can they apply for? Berapa peratus? Diploma to degree. Berapa peratus? Betul, 30%. 30%. Shock, right? 30%. Now, look at this. Okay. Actually, it's not 30%. It's 50%. Diploma to degree is actually 50%. So basically for formal learning, C grade and above is 30, B grade and above is 20%. Please check with your head. Okay. So it's actually 50%. All right. But generally, depending on schools' regulations, some of them will only allow, depending on cost, some will allow only 30, but it's actually 50. So APEL allows for 30. All right. So what happens is this. If a student from diploma, just picture this, transfer to degree, okay? This student already got a lot of experience working and so on and or interest. They will get actually maximum 50% credit transfer. But APEL allows for another 30%. 50 plus 30 is not 80 because maximum we can give by regulation is only 60. So students can get 60% credit transfer, guys. That is a lot. That is really, really, really a lot. All right. So this is the beauty of APEL. We want APEL-C. We want to encourage a lot of individuals working with diploma. They want to do their degree. So they get credit transfer already. Then with that, they can apply for individual subjects. So they can get more. They can get much more. And because they can get more or to a maximum of 60, then their duration will be reduced. Once their duration will be reduced, costs will reduce, and it will be more attractive for them to continue their studies. Because a lot of these people are working individuals. Okay? So this is CT. Okay, now the regulation on 50% here was allowed in 2018, 2018. So, but the government ministry say we leave it to the school. Kita benarkan sampai 50% and this is the regulation. But if your discipline or your school say you want to take 30%, it's up to you. Tapi maximum 50%. You faham? So this is the regulation. So some of you may answer 30, you are not wrong because your school may only allow 30% because that is the discipline as per requirement by discipline. But under ministry, they allow until 50. But 50 also not across the board. C grade and above is 30. B grade and above is 20. So if student all C only, then maximum 30. If student is an A student, A semua, so the first 30 is C grade and above. Then after that, because all A, so B grade and above, another 20 lah. That's why you get 50. So they reward students who are better, okay, or who are more, in a way, higher, get better grades, more studious in a way lah. Okay. So that is APEL-C. They allowed for maximum 60. 30, maximum 60 across all. Now, what if it is a student after SPM do degree? If after SPM do degree, does this person, will this person get any credit transfer from formal learning? Formal learning, ada tak credit transfer? Ada ke tak? From SPM to degree. No, very good. No, nothing. Because SPM to degree mah, APEL-A. So maximum can apply for APEL-C berapa? 30%. 30% saja. Now, this is maximum, no, not guarantee, maximum, because students will need to see their experience, their prior experiential learning versus the syllabus. I may like photography. When I join the degree, for example, maybe I can apply for only 2 subjects. Introduction to photography and the mechanicals and the introduction to a camera, for example, I just plucking from the sky. So only 2 subjects, even though I enjoy photography, I'm doing the course. So only 2 lah. And 2 maybe is only 6%. So maybe it's only 6%. It may not be 30, but some can achieve as high as 30. That is all. Not more than that. It's only 30. Okay, so next we are going to talk about implementation. Okay, APEL C, Malaysia and international student, all students. So it is only open to registered higher education providers, that is us. So what we see APEL C, we are looking at prior experiential learning, non-formal and informal, for the purpose of credit award. So even the students do MOOC, micro credentials, semua boleh apply. Apply doesn't mean dapat. Guys, always remember, apply doesn't mean dapat. Apply sahaja. If the student still fail the test, student cannot prove to you, fail. Fail means not fail subject, fail APEL. Still must do subject, still must do course, still must go class. Okay. So for postgraduate program, limited to only courses in programs conducted via coursework and mixed mode. Okay, postgraduate programs only for coursework and mixed mode. Okay, because it is credit transfer. Okay, we are an approved APEL C institution. So basically, we need to follow the MQA policies. So APEL C programs approved by ministry and obtain at least a PA from MQA. So for us in UOW, we are a APEL C center. So all the programs that we are offering is under APEL. That means we can apply for APEL C. All right. Now, the thing is this. Now, over in Penang, I think some of you are from Penang colleagues, right? Penang, you only have UOW Malaysia University College. So your license is UOW Malaysia University College. No problem. All the programs are covered for FLC. Over in Selangor, dia lain sikit. Selangor, we got 3 entities. We got UOW Malaysia. I gantung already. I hope you still can hear me. I can see I'm frozen. Okay. Can Okay. So here we have UOW Malaysia University College, UOW Malaysia KDU College, and UOW Malaysia College. We got 3 entities. Take note, APEL C is only valid for UC, University College. You may ask, why? Ada 3 license. When we apply, we can only apply one. We apply for University College because got the most program. Okay, got the most program. So even though I'm in charge of the college, rugi lah. I cannot, none of the programs in my college can get applied, the students can apply for APEL C because the APEL C license is only for University College. Okay, guys? All right. Government is like that lah. You got 3 license, you need to apply 3 kali. Not one license not one application for all 3. Tak boleh punya. Okay. So APEL C is credit transfer without grade and not credit exemption. So it's credit transfer, not credit exemption. I hope you all know the difference. Credit transfer is student meet the requirement, do not need to do the subject, but get the credit. Credit exemption means you are exempted from the subject, but you need to do another subject to meet the credit. So it is not credit exemption, it is credit transfer. It is the same as if a student come in from diploma to degree. The process is the same. We will take their transcript. Let's say a student from Taylor's diploma come to us to do degree. We will ask them for their transcript. After we ask them from their transcript, the program leader will do credit transfer. Apa yang boleh, apa yang tak boleh. So maybe Taylor student will get 20%. Then after that, we send to A and B, then the process will be done. Exactly the same. So student, you will see in their transcript, on top there, credit transfer, what are the different subjects. Itu saja. Okay? Now, if your program is under a professional body, example, all right, engineering school, nursing school, these 2 very, very critical. Engineering school, you are under Board of Engineers. If you want to apply for APEL, subject to the acceptance by relevant professional bodies. Board of Engineers must say yes, can. Student pass or whatever, only you can take because you are regulated. All right, you get it, huh? Because Board of Engineers may not agree on APEL C. Who knows? So that one needs the green light for the Board of Engineers. Okay, and we are responsible for the approval itself lah. We need to look into that lah. So that is important. Any questions, guys? Why? Now, why is this important? Because the professional bodies are the one that accreditate your program. Okay, so they must give the green light. All right. So MQA says this: if your professional body say okay, okay lah. If they say not okay, not okay lah. It's up to them. All right. Even though you are an FLC center, you are a center that you can do. But if it is not allowed by the professional bodies, you cannot. So, like for us, a lot of our programs are homegrown programs. All right, homegrown means we buat sendiri. No issue. There is no professional body. So those programs definitely can. No problem. Okay. Award of credit to APEL cannot be transferred automatically to another program. So if student get credit transfer on APEL through APEL C on a particular subject, then during the study he changed program. Some students change program. No guarantee that the credit transfer will go across. No. All right. Because it depends. If the other subject, subject in the program is the same, then okay. If not the same, cannot. So it needs to minimum 80% of the LO of the new program needs to be the same. Then only can transfer. Okay. As we said, award of credit through FLC equivalent to the credit value of the course applied for. All right, so that's about it. It's credit transfer. So it's 4 credit, 4 credit. All right. So credit awarded for the course is applicable to the specific course applied for. Credits are not automatically applicable to prerequisite. Now, this is where it becomes tricky. So very fair. Let's say you have accounting 1, accounting 2, and accounting 3. Prerequisite for accounting 2 is accounting 1. Prerequisite for accounting 3 is accounting 2. Understand, huh? So, student apply for APEL C for accounting 3. If the student pass, it doesn't mean it is retrospective back to the other 2. Immediately 2 and 1, he also get credit transfer. No, it is only accounting 3. You may say, yeah, but accounting 3 prerequisite is 2. So definitely he meets the requirement. You and I know, but the policy don't allow. So if he wants, so 3 got, if he wants to apply for this, he needs to apply separately and so on. Okay, so there are cases, let me tell you this. I don't know how it happens, but it does happen, what I heard. Student can get credit transfer, CT, for accounting 3, but fail APEL C for accounting 2. So the student at a higher level 1, they get credit transfer. These 2, they still need to do. It is like that. Too bad. Okay. But normally not lah. For accounting, normally not lah. Okay. Separate assessments for each courses. Credit award cannot be granted on a block basis. Because accounting is very similar at different levels, 1, 2, and 3. Student cannot request, sir, I do one assessment for 3, but you do, but we do 3. That means student apply 3 APEL, 1, 2, and 3, APEL C, but do one assessment. So that one assessment to kill all 3 birds cannot. Assessment needs to be individual to individual application. Yes, that is how it is. Okay, so APEL C for all courses except project or dissertation. You cannot apply APEL C for dissertation. Not possible. Okay, executive diploma, please leave that out. We don't do here anymore already. Okay, so Implementation is basically on just to touch a little bit. Students, okay, I give you an example. Okay, so this implementation is important over here. Let's take number 2. I find this is one of the most important aspects. You are doing counseling. Okay, you are doing counseling. Then the student that you're counseling in the education fair tell you, sir, I heard you got APEL C. Can you check for me and to tell me which one I can get? Cannot. You cannot guarantee a student how many credits or what they can get. Please take note. You can tell the students we are the APEL C center, but everything needs to go through the assessment. You cannot guarantee student that, oh, look at your subjects over here, look at your experience, you can get for this. Cannot. You cannot janji, because students may have worked in marketing for 10 years, but they don't meet the learning outcome of the marketing course. You get what I'm trying to say, yeah? Working and meeting outcome of marketing of the subject is totally different. So you cannot janji. All right. You can tell we have, this is the process, easy, but you cannot tell the students what you will get. Okay. Because what you will get or finally is only after they go through the process. They go through the process. Okay, so that is MQA is very, very, very strict on this. They don't want to hear complaints about people write to them and say, UOW cakap, when I do counseling, I can get this, I can get 20 credits already before I sign. After I sign up, then I do the assessment, saya gagal. Sekarang saya kena pergi kelas. So please make sure how you advise the student. We have this process, but you must go through the assessment. If you pass, you get. You don't pass, you don't get. Then you need to do class. Understand, guys? Please take note. Okay. Why? A lot of students always want to catch us so that we say that, oh, sure get. So they will turn around and say, but you promised me, that's why I signed up to you, ma. You promised me, ma. You promised me, ma. That one problem, lah. Okay. Now, students who fail APEL-C assessment for the course applied for will have to complete the course through the usual process. I apply for marketing. I fail APEL-C. So next semester, I take marketing. I must go for class and do assignment and so on. It doesn't mean I fail the subject. No, nothing to do with the subject. Nothing. I will just need to do the subject. So this is important. So students will need to understand. No, say you apply for APEL, so it is normally advisable to tell the student to apply for APEL C for the subject in the semester that the subject that they are not doing that subject. Okay. Of course, sometimes you cannot run away because if it's a first semester subject, the reason is because if the student, let's say it is a subject that it is this semester, so the whole class do that subject. You apply for APEL-C. After during the process of application, it takes a bit of time. You fail. So you need to do the subject. But it's already week 6. It's already week 6. It could be too late already. So the student need to do it in the future. But next semester, if he wants to do, it could clash with his other classes. You get me, guys? It could clash with his other classes. So maybe the students can only do that subject 1 year down the road, or maybe 1.5 years down the road. So it will impact his graduation or impact his schedule. Students need to understand that. Okay, so normally what we do is we advise students to do it earlier, one semester, so they plan ahead. Students who have working experience, they will plan ahead. They will plan very much ahead. Okay, all right. So they say, okay, second semester got this subject. I apply now, first semester. So if I pass, I don't need to do lah. If I fail, so at least I got no issue. So this is how the whole system is lah. Okay. Okay, the process. So how does the process takes place now? A bit of the instrument, pre-application, before the student apply, briefing. So student is like this, layman's language. Student will go to the school. School will tell them, hey, Ali, you have working experience. We have this thing called APEL. Okay, so basically the school will have an advisor. All right, an advisor over there. So they'll tell Ali, why don't you go to the APEL center? They will brief you more. So they will come to us, Hazim and myself will brief the student. We will explain to the student what is APEL, what are the fallbacks, the drawbacks, and so on about APEL, what are the benefits, and so on. Student got time to decide. We don't force the student. So when student decide already, student will then apply. So apply, apply only, no pay money, apply. After apply already, the application will go to the subject expert, the school. Then the school will say whether want to accept or don't accept the student. At this stage, you can don't accept the student. You can don't accept because student may think that they are very good, but you explain to the student, I'm very sorry, the CLO and your experience don't match. We don't accept you. Then you rationalize with the student, no, we cannot. All right, case closed. All right, it is not paksa. It's not they have to. It is not we have to take. All right, so it can be case closed there. You rationalize, you tell the student, if you fail, you need to do back and so on and whatnot. If the, of course, the application process, there are certain documents that we need and whatnot. If the acceptance, if the application is already been accepted, then this part we will go. So students will do self-assessment. The advisor will recommend, and then the formal application. So accepted, then the students will now do a formal application. This is the full one, all right, of my application. Once it is done, we accept them in, then we will do assessment with them. All right, we will set a date, a time to do assessment. Who does the assessment? The subject expert, not us. I am not a subject expert on things of photography or computing. The individual schools will do. Okay, so we have already passed many students who have gone for FLC. We had one student who applied FLC on a lot of culinary subject. So the advisor and the assessor are all chefs in the hotel school because they are the one that will evaluate the student. Understand? So the process, there are many stages. It is not guaranteed we will take the students. Some students, they apply for, let's say, marketing. Then you ask them why. Oh, I actually work in this marketing firm for 3 months after SPM. Maybe not. You say, no. You still have to take. Okay. So application for each subject is 200 ringgit. Got fee, 200 ringgit. If student pass APEL, for credit transfer is 500. So it is still cheaper than the normal cost. Normal subject, one subject, 1,200, for example. This is this amount. You apply 200. If you pass, credit transfer is another 500, total 700. All right. What are the benefits? You still need to pay. It will be cheaper than the course fee. And you no need to do the subject. Okay. You no need to go through class. No need to go through class. Okay. So how do we assess the student? There are two ways of assessing the student. It could be challenge tests, or what you normally call an exam or an assessment, or a portfolio. It can be a portfolio, a challenge test, or a challenge test and a portfolio. All right. Now, for subjects like accounting, then we do tests. Accounting will normally be the lecturer will recommend tests. For subjects that are more creative, for subjects that are more things such as like photography, public speaking, it could be portfolio. It could be portfolio. All right. So I explained to you earlier on, I had a student who was a chef, FLC. So he applied FLC on culinary subjects, pastry, hot cooking, and so on. So it was a challenge test. You say you know how to bake. Okay, you come 4 hours, you bake 2 cakes, bread, and muffin to prove to me. So it's a challenge test because that is the CLO. So all of these are based on the CLO. So it can be written test, oral test, presentation, product assessment, simulation, demonstration, and so on. Okay, depending on suitability with course content. Understand? Who decides? Not me, not APEL Center. The school decide. The assessment is done by the school. So the school decide. We don't decide. We cannot decide because we are not subject expert. Okay. So the assessment, basically, we are evaluating CLO. So students need to meet course learning outcome of the course or subject, at least 50% each. So if, for example, your subject of photography, the one I explained to you, there are 4 CLOs, CLO 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you got to make sure you do assessment to assess these 4 CLO. And every CLO, I must have minimum 50%, I must pass. Let's say CLO 1, I got 90%. CLO 2, I got 90%. CLO 3, I got 48%. CLO 5, CLO 4, I have 98%. I still fail because CLO 3, I only got 48%. That is what it is. You need to show competency on all CLOs, not average. Average is where you plus up all the marks and you divide. Not every CLO must be more than 50%. Okay, so this is how it is. Understand, guys? Okay, so this is important. That is how it is. All right. So general flow, this is the general flow about how the whole process goes. Learners undertake self-assessment exercise. So as the stage goes, if it's eligible, submit application form and fee. If it is not eligible, straight away we notify the learner. Thank you very much. I'm very sorry. You don't meet minimum requirements. No, I don't want to take your money and you fail. I don't want to take your money and you cannot show CLOs. Okay. Then you do assessment. Assessment, you can take challenge test and or portfolio, go through. If you pass, yes. If you fail, you can appeal. Appeal is the same. You pay 100 ringgit to appeal why you fail. Okay. But normally, if it is a challenge test, a practical test, students already will know why they fail. If the bread don't rise, if the cake crumble, all right, they will know already. They will know, hi, ya sudah gagal. Straightforward. Then the whole process goes through endorsement by academic board or senate. Then the result, APEL C center will give to the school. The school will do credits transfer, CT. All right. When they do credit transfer, then they notify the learners. Simple as that. All right. So that is APEL C in a nutshell. That is the process. The next part here is how it goes through. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to confuse you on that, especially I see certain marketing people over here. Now, are there any questions on APEL C? I think that's important. Are there any questions on APEL C? Yes or no, guys? No, so you understand. Now, APELs A and C, two different, assess, credit transfer. Okay, we are APEL A or APEL C center? APEL A or APEL C center? C, very good. Let's say a student comes and tell you, I have SPM. I've been working for 20 years. I want to do degree. Would that be APEL A or APEL C? I got SPM. I got working 20 years. And I want to do degree. APEL A or APEL C? Mana tu? A or C? Hold on, guys. My question was, I have SPM. Okay, I want to do degree. So would that be APEL A or C? Is that assess or credit transfer? SPM nak masuk degree. So nak masuk assess A. APEL A, guys. APEL A. All right, guys. Now, if students come and see you and it's APEL A, what do you tell them? Can we do it or not? Can we do APEL A? Cannot. So we channel them to MQA, MQA, MQA site. You just during advice, just say, I'm sorry, we cannot, we are not an APEL A center. You then please go to you just type in APEL MQA, and then you apply through the MQA website. Okay. Now, so basically, this is what APEL is. Now, do we get recently, do we get more inquiries? Yes, we do get more inquiries. Why? Recently we are getting a lot of working people coming over to say they want to continue their studies. A lot. And it is always wanting to do masters. That is what we have received. All right. And the only challenge is they don't have the minimum requirements lah. Diploma to masters, SPM or what, you know. So they are asking for advice. So we advise them like, if it's with diploma already over there, they want to do they want to do their study, we will advise them. Maybe with your diploma, you don't do degree. You go to APEL, then after that you come back to do the masters with us, because it is important for us to advise the student properly. So we listen to them. What is their age? What do they want to achieve? What is their career prospect? Then you advise. Because some students may think in their mind, I come to you, I got diploma, I want to do degree. Okay, so it is important for you to also see what is their circumstance and so on. But if they really want to do degree, please go ahead. But if you see this guy is really 50 years old and then he doesn't know about APEL, then you may want to tell that person about APEL lah. You know, you may want to say, sir, thank you for coming over. I know you want to do a degree. However, there's this thing called APEL A that allows you upon completion to come and to continue with your masters. Will that be better? You see, so you open the eyes of the candidate. The candidate say, got such thing. It's also very good. We don't want students to join, right? Because eventually when they join the program, when they talk to their friends, the friends will tell them, how come you never apply APEL A? How come you never go and do your masters? Then he say, I cannot do because I got diploma. You can apply APEL A, ma. The university never tell you. Base. All right. So it's also a problem. We don't want. I'm not saying we push the students away. We don't. We give them options. But some students memang wants to do degree. All right? Yes, up to them. But always understand when you all sell on this matter, degree is 120 credits, you know. Masters is only 40 credits, you know. That is where the difference comes in. So the duration of time is going to be banyak lain, you know, very different. Okay, don't think that degree is at a lower level is easier for you. If this guy is 50 years old and he's going to do a part-time degree, will you can finish in 3 years or not? Even though your degree is 3 years, part-time 3 years can finish or not? Cannot, friends, cannot. It will sure drag one. You sure drag 4 years, 4 years plus. He's doing part-time. Every semester, your normal student, they'll 5 subjects. He only do 3 subjects or 2 subjects. Can finish in 3 years? No way. Okay, so you need to also look into the circumstance. All right, and at the end of the day, I always feel that the candidate or the student will be more appreciative to you because you are advising, you are giving the person options. Never make decisions for them. Don't make decisions. Do that. You should do that. You must do that. No, you could do this. These are the options. The words used need to be in such a manner that it puts the responsibility of choice towards the individual itself. All right, guys? So I won't touch this. This is basically on records. So ladies and gentlemen, as I said, roughly an hour and a half. Yes, we did it. Thank you for listening. So that is what APEL is. If you would like to know more details, please feel free to give us a buzz, myself or Hazim. We'll be happy to help you. You can drop by. For those who are in UG, come to our office. For those who are not, send us a mail and we'll be happy to help you. All right. On the matters of APEL itself. As I said earlier on, the number of inquiries have increased quite a lot. All right. This can only be a good sign of people and their interest in continuing their studies. But as I stressed again, majority of our inquiries, I'll be honest with you, is for APEL A, because they are working people who do not meet the minimum entry requirements of a particular course itself. All right. With that, thank you very much. Hope you have a very good day today and a very good weekend. All right. And I hope to hear from you all soon if there's any questions that you have. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.